every day, my shoulder, my elbow, forearm, and wrist would hurt bad, like maybe a 6.5 on a 0 to 10 scale. And 3 days after I got the device, that was gone. And I mean, they were hurting constantly all day long. So that was gone. The last one I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is my mood has improved enormously. I just feel happy all the time.
Hey, Jerry, thanks so much for coming to spend some time with me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
It's nice to see you out. It looks like you're outside in the nice sunshine.
Yeah, I found a nice quiet place, and so enjoying the fresh air,
Oh, yeah, cool. So can you start off just telling us a little bit about yourself prior to coming to QHS?
Sure. Retired out of the insurance industry after 30 years. Before that, in my youth, which I hope to get back to soon, like all of us, I was a pilot in the Air Force, flew helicopters, mostly jets a little bit. Then I got out and flew out of Love Field in Dallas. I'm in Houston now, and flew as a commercial pilot there, mostly jets and a little bit of helicopters. So reversed it. And then I went into insurance. They offered me a sales job, went into that and left aviation behind, and retired out of that recently. And now I got bored pretty quick, so a friend of mine took a ride in an Alto here in Houston. It's like an upscale Uber. Started in Dallas. Cynthia probably knows about it. And so I'm doing that now to stay busy and enjoy, not being too idle.
Yeah, that's important, I think. Very important. So tell me a little bit about your health prior to coming to QHS.
Okay, well, I had the main issue is going to be my colon cancer, which I am now told I'm fully recovered and there's no metastasis. I always thought it was called metastasis, but it's metastasis. But anyway, there's none of that. They did like 14 CAT scans on me before, during, and after the surgery. I'd have a third of the colon removed. It was diagnosed in June of 21, and it didn't. So I'm very. They said they'd have to take a third of the bowel out, and I wasn't having that, and I wasn't about to do radiation or chemo. I'm very non-traditional, follow the whole holistic and nutraceutical path. So I did vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C. There's a real good one that one of the doctors that I watched on YouTube recommended. He's very big in that kind of treatment, and it was used back in the 40s very successfully against polio and a lot of other things. I did that, and I did the fruit out of the Amazon and some other things, and I felt so good for several months rather than doing their chemo and radiation that I stopped doing it because I figured, well, okay, I've killed it, but I hadn't. So by July of last year, it was starting to hurt real bad, and so I got the small device at the end of August, but I was really hurting bad on my waist on the right side. The tumor had gone from 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters to, at that time, twice the size, 7 by 6 centimeters, with a 4 by 4 and a 4 by 4 centimeter abscess, they called it, attached to it, that was growing into the lining of the body cavity. And so it was hurting right here on the right side because the large colon, there's one end of it, a big bulbous end of it is right here on your waist on the right side. That's where it was hurting. It felt like a dog had sunk 2 fangs into my waist right there, and they were just constantly there hurting, and it was getting worse by the time I got the small device. I thought, well, that'll kill it. It didn't stop it, but I think that's what stopped the metastasis. Then I had the surgery. I went in. It finally got to hurting so bad after about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know. I went in at the end of September. They did a CAT scan in the emergency room, said you got this big tumor, and they ambulanced me from there right to the hospital, Methodist Hospital. And the next day they did surgery, took it out, and I felt subhuman for about 2 weeks. And then I started growing stronger, able to walk. And I couldn't even lift my leg off the bed the first day after the
Oh
surgery.
my gosh.
They did a 4-day. He said if you'd have gone and done it when it was first diagnosed in June of 21, we could have done it with a little small incision arthroscopic. But now we're going to have to cut. So they cut like a 14-inch incision straight down from just under my sternum to below the navel, a couple inches below the navel, and took it out through the middle. So I've had all kind of pain and problems with that growing back together, and the tissue underneath it there, I can feel there are lumps and things under the incision. Of course, the organs were all moved around to get 1/3 of the colon out. I had diarrhea and I had like irritable bowel long before I got the cancer detected. As I look back, constipation and then diarrhea back and forth for years. So anyway, I got the small device, and I think because of that, my recovery went from the operation on, I believe it was August 26th, to back at work full time in the rideshare here on October 1st, like 8 weeks. It was a rapid recovery.
Wow.
All the people after I was 4 weeks in the hospital, and then they moved me to a rehab facility, and all the techs in the rehab facility were shocked because my recovery was so rapid day to day. I was walking faster than the techs were when we went from my room down to the exercise room, in the facility, and they were shocked. And then when I left, they were shocked again. And I attribute that to the device and the wave, of course, and the fact that there was no metastasis, because that long, from what I know from cancer now, from like a Dr. Peter Seyfried, who's brilliant, who has a theory of cancer that's contrary to the traditional course. I always swim upstream and everything, and he's brilliant. He's a biologist. Says the mitochondrial activity abnormal in the cytoplasm of the cells, what causes the cancers. It has to occur over time. Anyway, and that's contrary to the prevailing theories now, but I think he's right. But
What's
anyway,
his book called? I think I have it.
Dr. Peter Seyfried, Thomas Seyfried. I've got the name of it. I'll email it to you afterwards if you want. I just watched the YouTube videos. He's brilliant.
Send me the YouTube.
Yeah, I will. I need your email. If you'll send it to me, text it or something, I'll get that to you and you can look it up, watch it. Very interesting. About an hour and 50 minutes. So immediately, though, when I got the device, what I noticed in 3 days on both of these other issues, I had fallen in December of 21 on my shoulder up in North Dakota. I was traveling and slipped on ice coming out of a hotel room. Not used to walking on ice, as you can imagine, in Houston. So fell, my feet went out, and I just went straight down on the left shoulder. So that hurt every day. My shoulder, my elbow, forearm, and wrist would hurt bad, like maybe a 6.5 on a 0 to 10 scale. And 3 days after I got the device, that was gone. And I mean, they were hurting constantly all day long. So that was gone. And then
That's fast.
Yeah. And also, same thing, 3 days and it was gone. I've had back pain, low back pain. I had a discectomy in '86 after I got out of the Air Force, but I had pain from about 1980 in my low back from a herniated disc. So they operated, got that out of there, and then 5 years later, the pain was back. I went back to the same neurosurgeon, Presbyterian in Dallas, Charlie Simpson, and he said, "No, you don't have a ruptured disc now. You got arthritis in there." So it would hurt me constantly to stand. If I would stand and talk to somebody like you do in a normal conversation, often standing, people talking, I would be in pain within a minute, and I would
Wow.
need to be shifting around, uncomfortable as all get out, and I'd have to sit down, So that was gone. 3 days after I got the device, gone. 43 years of back
Wow.
pain. Yeah, yeah, it
That's
did that right.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, both of those just sensational. I was thrilled to death, and it has never come back, either one of those, to this day. So that's the device. I mean, I didn't do anything else different. So there are some other things. The COVID thing, I think that was made up. I think it's just the flu, but whatever it was, maybe a more serious strain of the flu. I had smell. I never got COVID or the flu during the season, even though my kids had it and I was exposed to them. I didn't get anything. So I said, boy, I've got such a good immune system. Well, Jerry was smelling weird smells, though. After a while, I realized, why am I smelling these? It's metallic smells all the time. Real unusual. I never had before in my life. For about a year before I got the device, all the time, I would smell them all the time. Unnatural smelling smells. And as I think back on it, it must have been, exposure to that flu that caused this. Well, anyway, they're gone now. Device got rid of
Oh,
that.
that
uh,
is interesting. I've never heard that before.
yeah, I never had it in my life, so I know it was different, and it had to be from the device as far as the cure for it. What other things have I noticed? Severe stomach pains. Yeah, I mentioned that after the operation, my stomach. A few weeks after the operation, I was noticing that I had this severe pain right at the surface of my stomach. And obviously, it was the incision growing back, I suppose. Those lasted for 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's gone now. So I believe the device, was causing it to heal up. Let's
Nice.
see. The constipation, vivid dreams. I've had vivid dreams ever since I got the device. I hadn't dreamed for years, and
Me
sleeping much
too.
better. Yeah. A lot of us I know have that. My circulation is way improved. And I know that because I no longer have what they call ED, old guys problem, though not just old men anymore. I'm 73. But anyway, that's on.
Wow, that's great.
Okay, my stamina, the cancer, I'm sure had done this, but I would get out of breath, even maybe just walking 20 feet, 30 feet from the bathroom to the kitchen or something. I'd have to sit down and kind of catch up
Wow.
my breath. I couldn't walk like from out in the parking lot into the grocery store, or almost couldn't. And this went on for months, even before the cancer was detected. I was having that. It's probably from the cancer, I'm sure. So I've got all that back now. I can walk, a couple miles if I want to, no problem.
Nice. That's good. That helps your circulation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great for it. Is that everything? Let me see. Oh, I had some dental infections, and they were down there. I mean, I went to the dentist, a couple of them down because I'd had root canals, and it got infected down in there. It hurt. Those are gone. They went away without having to have him do anything. I'm sure that was a
Oh,
device.
cool.
Yeah.
That actually helps your heart too. You know that I used to work in dental,
Yes.
but there's a correlation between dental health, like your oral health, and heart disease. So
Yes, there is.
that's really good.
Yes, things can kill you, if they spread. And well, anyway, so that's gone. And the last one I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is my mood has improved enormously. I just feel happy all the time.
Oh, wow, that's good.
This one, which I had gotten, I did the drop test on this thing probably 15, 20 times before it finally expired. So it was really hung in there like a soldier, but finally it pretty much gave up the ghost. The back swelled up. I imagine that's a battery deal. Anyway, it's dead now. So, but I'm not worried because I'll have the white device in, a couple weeks when Wade ships those out.
Yeah. So are you an early adopter? What phase did you come in?
Yeah, that's what it says on my deal. I was in April.
Oh, okay. So you're one of the first. That's a
Yeah,
lot of improvement in just over a year. That's really great.
I'm pleased as all get out, but I can't wait for the big deal.
Well, that's coming. That's
I
coming.
know.
And you're going to be in the batch right after the admin.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to death.
So let me
I
ask you this. Since you brought that up, you get to take all this wisdom, knowledge, just life lessons, and apply them to a youthful body for your do-over. What are
Yes.
you the most excited about with that?
Well, there's a young lady that is way younger than I am, gorgeous, and she happens to like me for some reason. I can't figure out why. And so that's a part of it. It'll be nice to be her age. And then the other thing, I was always very good with eye-hand coordination when I was in my younger years. I became nearly a professional pool player. I don't want to do professional pool, but I had a wicked slice in golf. But that was just because I never went to, take any lessons or anything. And if I go back to 30-ish and with my eye hand coordination and I go to a good pro, I'm going to take a shot at becoming a pro golfer. I've always wanted to do that, and that's what I'm
Fun
going to
is
go.
that? That's fabulous. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And the one other thing, since I was a pilot before, since we have flying vehicles in our future, I already offered to when I came out of the Air Force, I was a helicopter pilot. This was in '86, and helicopter air ambulance life flight programs were proliferating throughout the U.S. at the time because the oil patch had slowed down. Some of the offshore oil operators had idle helicopters and crew, so they converted them over to do EMS, air ambulance for hospitals. So I was hired by a billionaire actually in Dallas to build one for Parkland and the other hospitals there because his wife was on the board of Parkland and he wanted to give them a program. So I built one for him, and it was FAA compliant, with all the regulation and everything, certified. And so I offered for Cynthia to, if they want, I will build a safety program for her because we're going to need it, because we can't just let people go out and fly like the Jetsons. They might fly through an airport traffic area and get run over by a 737 taking off, 747, 757 now. So I can do that, and I'll be happy to. And so, we'll see.
And you
Stare
just
if you
gave
want
me
to.
a vision of these flying vehicles that we could, for like the EMS and for helping people, put like a device in there. And
Oh yeah,
that way, can you imagine that? I don't know if that's
yes I
possible.
can. I used to do that for a living. So we had hoists on the Huey helicopters, and I picked people up at 8,900 foot level in the high Uintas there east of Salt Lake City. Doing that, a guy tumbled down the cliffside and broke his back, and they won't survive the trauma of being carried by hand down a mountainside, you know, with extremely broken body like that. So they would always call us in, and we would drop the hoist down, and we'll go down 250 feet. It was designed to drop a penetrator, they called it, down in the jungles in Vietnam to pick up down pilots that had to bail out over the jungles of Vietnam. And so we used those. It was called military assistance to safety and traffic at the time. The military from bases would go out and pick up civilians that were injured in the mountains, up there trying to, you know, have fun in the mountains, and they'd get hurt. They'd fall down the cliff sides. And so we had to go up
Wow.
and get them. There's no other way. But yeah, people will need that if we start flying people around. She's going to probably want to have a program so that people know, how to navigate around airport traffic areas and how to stay out of severe mountain turbulence. If they're in the mountains and they fly close to a mountain and there's high winds, that's extremely dangerous. Even though you have a vehicle that, in Dr. Alfredo's words in that video, I still remember, you couldn't crash it. Well, maybe you can't crash it, but it could be forced down in a wave of air, just like a submarine could be hit the bottom of the ocean if a sudden wave down underneath the surface carries it down, because you're in that air, and it's an ocean of air. So a wave will carry you up or down. And they got to know about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I can build a little course for them.
Oh, fun. I'm sure that would be great for everyone.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So, well, I'll do it if she wants, we'll see.
So many wonderful things are coming. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And we've got the visionaries in the company, obviously, to conceive of that. So, and we have the people, I'm sure, to draw on. We have the resource, 5,000 people. I mean, there's all kind of experts in our 5,000 member group, That's why I assume it's 5,000. So.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have any visibility to that stuff, but I get to do this, which I would much rather do this than look at, computer reports or back office or anything. I like to connect with the people.
Sure. Well, I mean, you have followed your talents, and I admire you for that. That's what we should all do. That's how you find happiness.
This whole job that I have, this is a God thing. Like, it happened just very, spontaneously. And I just know that it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm just so blessed and grateful. So
that's obvious.
Thank you. So Jerry, is there anything you'd like to close with today?
Everybody just be patient and know that the good things are about to happen big time for all of us, and it's exciting. And I'm really happy to be here, and I'm very grateful to Dr. Alfredo and Cynthia and all of you folks in admin for everything that they have done and you do and continue to do. And often it's a thankless job, but there's a whole bunch of us out here that are really grateful to y'all. Thank you.
Aw, that's great. Well, I think that it's not a thankless job. I feel like we have, herding cats, of course, is a thing, but I feel like we have so many members like you that are just so full of love and joy. And so that is just super fun. So awesome. Yeah. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for sharing your story. I am sure it's going to inspire many.